This is the beast to end all beast of grinders. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that this is probably one of the best grinders I've used to date. And that's in a commercial sense, as well as for you at home. This is the Compak F8 OD. Let's check it out. Compak have been in the game since 1952, but they're not really talked about a lot. I mean, they're sort of known in the industry, especially in a commercial sense. They really are known for workhorse grinders without many fang-dangled features. But at home, they're not really talked about at all. And I know the size of this might put a few of you home baristas off. However, if you want the best grinder for your home, then you should definitely check out the F8 and ignore some of their home barista machines as well. Although they are very good, this one just exceeded my expectations. So let's talk about the features that are on this F8. You have the flat 83mm flat burrs, and they come in a red speed as well. And you have the conicals, which come in a 64mm. Now, you can debate whether you prefer the conical flavors over the flat burr flavors. I used to be a conical man. However, these days, I'm more of a flat burr guy. I just love the flavors that I get from these sort of grinders. But I'd love to hear your thoughts, whether you think conical over flat burrs. Drop a comment below, and don't forget to give a like. Thanks, legends. Now, why I love these particular burrs is because, like a few grinders and only a handful of manufacturers, actually produce their own burrs. So that's Malkönig, Erzinger, Mazza, and SSP. Most of the other grinders out there will all get their blades from the same manufacturer. So unlike that, these guys have their own machine. So in COVID, they decided that they were going to build their own manufacturing plant just for their burrs, and they set up their own designs. And what's fantastic about that is that if they decide they want to tweak it just ever so slightly, they don't have to run off thousands and thousands and thousands of burrs. They can do 20, they can do one, and then they can try that, and then they can say, is that better, is this worse, whatever. So that's what I love about it. And the design of this, I will show you in a second when I open up the chamber, and I'll show you how easy it is to clean as well. But the design of this just makes for the fluffiest, most consistent espresso grind I have seen on the planet. You don't need RDT, you don't need WDT, you just need a bit of RJT, that's my name, and you can get the fluffiest grinds perfect to extract all of those gorgeous oils. And I'll actually show you one in a minute. And not only that, they are incredibly accurate, down to the micron. And this is a hard thing to actually do because on grinders, and the reason why we haven't had microns around for a very long time, even though that's what you measure grind size in, is that it's really hard to get the space between the burrs to accurately measure the microns of each individual grind. And if you're having inconsistencies, you're going to have higher size microns and lower size microns. But with this grinder, you're getting 99.9% accuracy. I mean, you're getting very close to anyway. So you can actually, with the worm gear, it gives you such fine control. I can see here it's 146 microns, and with 1/2 a twist, I'm getting 144, and I can go up to 145, and everything in between. So I can see every day exactly what I need and where I need to adjust and where I came from the day before or whatever on every single dose that comes out of this machine. There's a straight line doser from the blades. Here's where the blades are, and it's straight into the portafilter. So there's no catch, there's no retention. I mean, this isn't designed to be a single doser. However, I can show you how I've actually used it as a single dose, and it does work fairly well. But it's better to have some grinds in here because their pressure pushes down and it just gives you just the most accurate grinds. And I've measured it time and time again, and within 0.1, 0.2 of a gram, I'm getting a single dose every single time. However, I would say when you actually mod it, just be careful. You can put your fingers down there and you can lose the tip of your finger, just like my brother did a few years ago. Has a massive 2.8-inch display here. You can see it's got 3 grind settings as well, so you could actually dose in multiple grinds if you wish. You can adjust the portafilter height here to fit your portafilter. It's a bit annoying that you have to use an Allen key to do it, but I guess you're really just using the same sort of portafilter, so once you've set it, you don't really need to adjust it. However, I have found going between different machines that I have had to adjust it or hold it in there And that's a little bit annoying, but it's very, very, very small. Now, one of the things that Compak did was refuse to go into gravimetric dosing. They just think the technology is not ready yet, it's not accurate enough, and whilst I think Mythos do it really well, I do understand why Compak have done it, and it doesn't really make a difference. Because it's so consistent, I can just dose it up, and then it delivers me 0.1, 0.2 of a gram to the T, the right dose that I need every single time. So what's great about it is that you can tap on the bean here, you can go straight into your dose, and you can adjust the seconds and the 0.100th of a second as well. So very easy. Then you can save it in there and go back. Now, I wish you could save more recipes in here. It does have a button that says recipes, and it only lets you save one, which is just for the espresso, and it lets you set the 0 point for the burrs. So once you've found the right microns to start with, you can just save that there, and it will always indicate where that starting point is. And then if you're going far away from it, and maybe someone accidentally does a couple of twists or whatever, maybe it just gets hot one day and you just need to, and then the next day the new barista comes along and you want to go back to the normal one, then you can just quickly dial it back and get it back there. Having said that, the worm gear is fantastic for accuracy. It is not, even though this grinder can do all levels of grind, it can do espresso, it can do Turkish, it can do cold brew, whatever in between, it takes a long time to go from 140 microns, which is around your espresso level, right up to 500 microns, which is around your filter level, right up to 1,000 when you need to do your cold brew. So it's going to take a long time, and I wouldn't suggest you use this if you're doing an all-purpose grinder. But if you're just wanting to hone in on the perfect espresso grind, this is a fantastic machine because it gives you that level of control and that level of accuracy. And I think if you could save more espresso recipes in here, so let's say you have your single, you have your blend, or you have your regular one, or you want to bring in a new one and you can just save it there, that would be really good. I think it's just a software update. I'm sure they can add that down in the future, because there's space there for you to have multiple recipes and know that when you bring out this particular bean, if you're single dosing, and you could just select that one and then adjust it to there. Even though it is super accurate, they have a little button on the side here, which lets you just top up. And it's so quick, so you can just tap it and it will dose 0.1, 0.2 of a gram extra coffee. So it's really good if you are weighing in and you really want to be fastidious about the exact dose. You can just dose it there, just tap that to dose it. Very, very easy. Normally you can set it to either grind when you tap it or grind when you put the portafilter in automatically. Okay, so let's go ahead and make an espresso, and I'm going to film it and show you how fluffy this grind is. So I've got in here some of my lovely Il Caramello. So I've got my thing there. Just press this button and you can see how lovely, gorgeous that grind is. That is insane. That doesn't require any extra adjustments on it because it's just no clumping, nothing at all. The consistency, you can see it. It is super consistent. So amazing how they've managed to achieve that. Let's run a shot through and you can see how good it is. Got this set to dose at 22.5, which is our recipe here in the cafe. And look how good that grind is. That is a really lovely pour. Got there in 27 seconds, which is ultimate. And let's break up the crema a bit. Yeah, just delicious. That is so clean, so consistent. I love it. And it was super easy, super quick. The fact that it's 4.5 seconds or 4.9 seconds is so quick. I have not found a grinder that goes that quick and that consistent in that size dosing, 22.5 grams. So I'm going to show you now how I modded it to be a single dose grinder, and you can tell me whether you think it's worth it or not. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'm going to actually open it up and show you how to clean it. So, dose up, get that to 22.5. There we go. So that's 22.5. So I'll pour that in. And then I just use this little modded one that I get found it on eBay. Put 3 there. Okay. So there you go. 0.2, 0.3 of a gram. Pretty good. So as you can see, as a single dose grinder, there's a little bit of retention, but very, very minimal. And you can use it as a single dose grinder. I wouldn't recommend using it as a single dose grinder for your filters, because when I've tested it with filter coffees, you don't get the consistency. I do find a lot of fines in there. When it's full, I get a really nice consistency. So for a cafe, if you're using this as your filter grinder, ideal. However, as a home barista, I think this one's best suited as an espresso user. Now, one of the other excellent features about this grinder is the quick release burst set. So you can just undo these. I find that you have to be the Hulk strength thumbs to do it, but once, maybe you can do it easier over time. But once you've released them, this just comes right out, and you can see here, easy enough to clean all your burrs. Let's try that down here. And for anyone interested in the geometry of the burr set, that's making absolutely gorgeous fluffy grinds. So for those of you who are keen to understand it in greater detail, that's for your benefit. But you can just get into the burrs, clean them out, give them a bit of a vacuum. It lines straight back up when you put it back on. It lines right back up. So it doesn't affect your grind size at all. And then you just close those locks again. Again, being the thumb Hulk. Okay, hang on. Again, you gotta be a thumb Hulk to do it. But I am a weakling, clearly. I got it, oh, I got it. Don't help, guys, don't help, guys. Don't help me. See how easy that is? Never need to worry about another grind system ever again. But honestly, I don't know. That's probably because it's new. I'm hoping that's because it's new, or I'm just the weakest person on the planet, but that is how easy it is to clean the burr set. So no screws, no screwdrivers, no Allen keys, no having to worry about redialing it in or resetting your burrs, and maybe even, you know, on the Malkönig, you might have to reset where the zero burrs are. It keeps everything exactly as it was before. I can see here I'm down to 130 microns. So really, really easy. So you can actually go into the settings and see on the burr sets how many kilos you put through. So far I've put through about 17 kilos, and I can set an alarm there for about 800 and replace it at about 1,000 kilos. But that's obviously more for commercial use. I've done 2% of a total 100% before I need to replace the burrs. And if you get the red speed burrs, you're looking at 5,000. So if you're a home barista doing about a couple of coffees a day, that's about 350 years. So you won't have to replace it anytime soon. So how much do they cost? In Australia, these cost about 3,500. And in America, that's about 2,000 US dollars. They're actually relatively cheap for this level of grinder. You're looking at 5,000 for your Malkönigs, East K43s, and this produces exceptional burrs. In fact, I would put it above the old EK43s. I haven't been into the deep dive into the Omnias, so maybe the Omnia is better than the Compacts, but if not, they're very, very close, and they're on par with pretty much any of the top level grinders out there in the marketplace. And for those of you who are interested, the Malkönig Omnia is about 3,500 US dollars or 6,000 Australian dollars, so double the price of this. So anyway, I hope you liked this video. If so, give it a like, give it a subscribe. Thanks a lot. I try to go into as much detail as I possibly can. So the more you comment on there, the more you want me to go further into detail in other areas that maybe I haven't touched on. Please let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. I'm Ryde, your coffee coach. And as always, enjoy your brew.